Over the last two nights, Sunday night and Monday night, most of you think we have three elite Super Bowl teams, New England and Kansas City, and then Green Bay last night. And we only have two, New England and Kansas City. Green Bay is not a Super Bowl team. There is a big difference for New England at home being tied with healthy Kansas City, undefeated Kansas City, several stars Kansas City, no rebuilding Kansas City, headed to the Super Bowl Kansas City. And there's a big difference between the Packers being tied late with rebuilding C.J. Beathard, a bunch of C-minus running backs, and playing for next year, San Francisco. Green Bay is not a Super Bowl team. The Green Bay Packers offense has become, hey, Aaron Rodgers, save us. The Green Bay Packers offense has become, hey, Aaron, we're trailing in the fourth. Can you make some of those really cool back shoulder throws? It's not clever. Aaron is. It's not creative. Aaron is. It's not intuitive. Aaron is. Listen to this stat. In the last 3 years, this is with Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay in the first 3 quarters of games is minus 91 with Aaron Rodgers. In the fourth quarter, they're plus 105. That tells you that Aaron Rodgers is a life preserver for a mostly marginal coaching staff and marginal roster. I watched that game last night, and my takeaway was, damn, I can't wait to watch Garoppolo with the Niners next year. There's a bunch of young 49ers. I was like, oh, this is going to be fun next couple of years in San Francisco. They out-schemed Green Bay all night. Do you realize on the road with C.J. Beathard, the 49ers averaged almost a yard more per pass than Aaron Rodgers at home with veteran coach Mike McCarthy. And what really struck me after the game, remember on Sunday night, we watched that precise and exact and that systematic march down the field, nonchalant by New England to win the game. It was a 2-minute drill instructional videotape, like they'd practiced it 1,000 times. The pacing, the precision, the accuracy. It was almost a 7-on-7 drill. They each knew what the other was doing. So an offensive lineman turned to him in the huddle and said, hey, Aaron, remember that play we ran last year in November? Why don't you give that a run? Does that sound like how they do it in Belichick land, in Brady land? He turned to an offensive lineman who said, hey, I draw it up in the dirt, but we got grass. Remember that play we ran a couple years ago? Why don't we go ahead and try that one? Wow. Yesterday I said there are 9 teams I think can play for the Super Bowl this year, capable of beating multiple teams back-to-back in the playoffs. I needed, though, to see 2 teams more. Carolina, I'll wait till they go to Philadelphia this weekend, and Green Bay. I've seen Green Bay. This is not a Super Bowl team. This is not a Super Bowl team. Schemes, personnel. By the way, if it was not for that gift call late in the game, Richard Sherman was called for illegal contact. Monday Night Football showed about 2 frames of it. Aaron got sacked. And apparently they get a first down because of, right there, you're watching it, that move by Richard Sherman. If not, it's 4th and 19. They're punting the ball to San Francisco, which has all 3 timeouts left and can go in for the winning score. So Aaron Rodgers' career, and I'm not saying he's without some blame, is starting to feel a lot like Dan Marino's, where it's like 12 to 15 years of, wow, he's really good. Some real regular limping at the end of it. And when it's all done, why didn't he end up in the Super Bowl more? He was so darn good. That's what it's starting to feel like to me. I wanted to watch Green Bay next couple of weeks. I've seen enough. Schemes, clever, intuitive, none of it. I was blown away by the effort of San Francisco. I was shocked, outside of Aaron Rodgers, at the lack of schematics, personnel, clever, unique I saw from Green Bay. Yeah, I still have my reservations about Josh Gordon, who I think is really talented and could be a huge bonus if he can stay clean post-Thanksgiving. I think a lot depends on him. Josh Gordon gives them a deep threat. He's a terrifically talented player who has a history of struggling with substances. So you cross your fingers, you root for the young man. He's super talented, and I think he's more important than we think. They've got the tight end. They've got the running backs. They got the slot receivers. You got to be able to go over the top occasionally to beat a Pittsburgh and to beat a Kansas City with the way the NFL works today. But it's interesting, if you'd have asked me 8 years ago, so I watched Brady on Sunday and I watched Aaron Rodgers last night, Joy, and if you'd have asked me 8 years ago, who over the next 8 years is going to get to the Super Bowl more, I would have taken Aaron Rodgers, who was going into his prime, and it felt like Tom was going out of it. But this happens a lot, almost without exception. When you go back and look at legends in any field, the people who rise often, they deserve respect, but they get a series of breaks. And timing. Think about this. Look at Tom Brady in the last 7-8 years. Peyton Manning retires. His chief rival, the Steelers, have become increasingly noisy and dysfunctional. The best young offensive coaches appear to be going over to the NFC. Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Doug Peterson, Matt Nagy, Sean Payton still maybe the best, NFC. And the AFC East, Tom's division, has gotten worse over the last 7 to 8 years. Used to be Herm Edwards is in there. Then Rex Ryan had some good defenses. It's gotten worse. And a lot of the quarterbacks drafted in the AFC in the last 7-8 years that were going to challenge Tom. Bortles, meh. Mariota, meh. Manziel was a bust. Paxton Lynch was a bust. Andrew Luck is hurt. Deshaun Watson has no support. Now, so Tom's gotten a series of little breaks. I'm not saying they're all massive, but they're little. Now let's go look at Aaron Rodgers. Okay, his primary rival is Drew Brees. He's still playing, and there's no question he is still one of the top 3 guys in the league. Peyton Manning left Tom. Drew Brees is aged better. Still looks like he's in his peak. The best offensive coaches in football have mostly gone over to Aaron Rodgers' side, the NFC. Again, Matt Nagy, the Bears in his own division. Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Carson Wentz's coach, Doug Peterson. Many of the young quarterbacks drafted in the NFC to challenge Aaron Rodgers, they've been great. Goff looks to be great. Carson Wentz appears to be great. By the way, when he comes back, Jimmy G appears to be really good. Russell Wilson's going to be a Hall of Famer. Cam and Matt Ryan will get votes for it. And also, whereas Tom's conference has gone downhill in the last 7 or 8 years, the NFC North is better. The Chicago Bears look like they have a very promising future. The Vikings have been really talented for 3 or 4 years. So, this will probably never be built into the greatest of all time, and I think Tom is that and will always be that. But if you look at rivals, quarterbacks, coaching, division, Tom's gotten a series of breaks, good breaks, and Aaron Rodgers has gotten a series of bad breaks. You think about who Tom really has to go through for the next couple of years. The dysfunctional Steelers, which New England owns, and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Now, that's a real roadblock. That's real. But he's a baby. Whereas Aaron Rodgers is going to have to go through the combination of Goff and McVay, Jimmy G and Shanahan over the next 4 years, Breeze and Sean Payton and Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson. I mean, that's a real roadblock. And he's turning 35, Aaron, and he's limping more and more. He was limping by the end of last night's game. So Brady has had a few good breaks last 7-8 years. Aaron's had a few bad breaks. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.